Evan is on your side this morning tracking the return to the classroom, and right now in Fairfax County, teachers have less than 12 hours to make a big decision about their future. Will they return for in-person learning, take leave, or just move on? Good morning, Washington's John Gonzalez is live right now outside of school headquarters in Falls Church with the details. Big day, John.
Robert, good morning. And you're right, my friend. This is a big day. We are live at Fairfax County's public school system headquarters, where this deadline is just hours away. About 700 teachers here in the county have until 4:30 this afternoon to decide if they are going to return to their schools for in-person teaching, take an unpaid leave of absence, or simply resign or retire. Now, the school's Teachers Union has surveyed over the past couple of days about 1,300 of these teachers, and I got a chance to speak to the vice president of the union, and she tells me that they plan on holding a press conference just ahead of today's deadline at 4 p.m. Over half of those surveyed have already stated that they do not feel safe returning to class just yet. Now, the school system says it regrets the anxiety that's being felt, but argues that a detailed plan was already sent to the school board last month with a blueprint for a phased-in reopening of schools for the most vulnerable students. The superintendent's goal is to resume in-school teaching for career and technical education classes, preschool autism classes, English language learners, and for other special education students.
A lot of people were just put in a really tight spot, wanting to be able to continue doing their job virtually, but being told that that's not an option anymore and that they have to decide if they're going to continue to keep their job.
Now, these teachers do have an option to submit an American with Disabilities Act request to take leave with pay during this school year. School leaders say they have already gotten over 2,000 of those requests.
A longtime school principal in the district no longer in charge.
The decision sparking backlash on social media, with many saying he was dismissed because he raised concerns about bringing students back to class. ABC 7 DC Bureau Chief Sam Ford is following this story. So, Sam, what are you hearing about this today?
Well, we're hearing a lot of what you're hearing, Allison. Right now, I'm outside School Without Walls, Francis Stevens, in the West End near Georgetown. The School Without Walls community was stunned by the news. Longtime principal Richard Trojish was apparently fired by DCPS. Parents of the K-12 school received email dated today that effective immediately, Trojish was out, thanking Principal Trojish for his service. School Without Walls at Francis Stevens is a K-8 school. Trojish was principal here, as well as School Without Walls High School blocks away. DCPS is not saying why the principal is gone, but James Harnett, an ANC commissioner and candidate for school board, said Trojish is the pillar of the community.
He fights for his students, and we don't know why he was terminated. Some teachers have said it's because of the school reopening and that he didn't think that right now was the best time to reopen our schools. And if that's the case, if they fired a principal because he was raising safety concerns about both students, teachers, and staff coming back to the classroom, that's a scandal.
The mayor and chancellor on Monday announced that elementary schools, including this one, would partially reopen to students on November 9th. And there has been reaction against that from a number of teachers organizations, as well as parents and students. And perhaps that has something to do with the dismissal today.
7's on your side tonight, tracking the coronavirus pandemic in Prince George's County. For months now, ABC 7 has tracked the disproportionate number of cases and deaths in minority communities. All new at 6, ABC 7's Kelly Lynn talks to a council member who has seen her family hit hard by this deadly virus.
This is Councilmember Denny Taveras.
Before Denny Taveras began serving residents in Prince George's County, she spent years in Harlem, New York. It's where she grew up after her family left the Dominican Republic.
We originally came here in the 60s and 70s.
A hard-working, close-knit family that's been devastated by COVID-19.
was the first person who got sick?
We heard Jaimito was my brother's half brother. Became sick and subsequently his mother.
That was in March. Their deaths were followed by the passing of uncles Marcial, Dario, and Alberto. 8 family members in all lost to COVID-19, 14 others infected.
As long as I stay busy, I don't get to think about it a lot.
Taveras lives and works in District 2 in Prince George's County, which includes Hyattsville, Adelphi, Beltsville, and Langley Park. It's an area where there are more than 2,900 cases of COVID-19, the highest in the county.
This area here has the highest number of cases of COVID-19 in the entire state of Maryland, D.C., and Virginia.
According to the CDC, discrimination, a lack of insurance, education and income gaps, crowded housing conditions, and high-exposure jobs in places like grocery stores and public transit facilities contribute to increased COVID cases and deaths in minority communities.
Okay, Lucky, come on.
Taveras worries not only about her family but her constituents, that without an effective vaccine, there will be more infections and more deaths.
I'm concerned that this is not over yet, and we still are in this for the long haul.
In Adelphi, Kelly Lynn, ABC 7 News.
7's on your side with some perspective on that community. Look at this. Since the pandemic began, Prince George's County has recorded 30,000 cases of COVID-19. Data just updated shows nearly 1 in 10 of those cases is in that one zip code. John?